How's it going, everybody? It's your boy KCG Trades, and today I have my first weekly watch list video, which is essentially my stocks to watch list. I'm going to be going through all the stocks that I'm watching for this upcoming week, from the week of February 16th to February 20th, 2021. I'll just be going through the setups, the stocks I like, and the overall market to see how we're going to play out this week. So just let's get right into it. Going to start off by looking at the Nasdaq, the QQQ ETF. Taking a look here, we've been on a strong uptrend since the March lows. We've had our little ups and downs here, but nothing to really worry about. The market is a little bit short-term extended because it's just been pretty much non-straight up, but we don't want to predict. We just want to let the market lead us. And right now, it closed on Friday at all-time highs, so price is telling us we want higher. Right, so we don't want to make any predictions. We just want to have our stop losses, stick to our process, and let the market guide us. When we try to make predictions, usually when we get burned, so just let the market direct you. We are not smarter than the market, so like I said, let the market direct you. So that's the Nasdaq, looks good. And we're going to look at the SPY, the S&P 500. Same thing, strong uptrend since the March lows, closed at all-time highs as well. A little bit extended from the 10 and 21 EMAs, but once again, let the market direct us. We could be due for more sideways action or maybe a little pullback, but like I said, we don't want to predict. So the stocks that I'm watching for this upcoming week, we'll start with Adobe. This is one of another large cap stock, but the action in it is beautiful. It's been going sideways for about 7 to 8 months. A lot of large cap names have been going sideways for a really long time, but the action is getting really nice here. As we see here, we are flagging very nicely, and the price action is getting really tight around the top of this flag. Volume is drying up as well, so I'd like to see a breakout over this 500 level on good volume for an entry price, and then ultimately a retest of prior highs. So this is my first stock to watch. And next we have Bandwidth. Another stock that's just been going sideways for the past 7-8 months. As we see, here's a huge flag going in, and the action is actually starting to get a little tighter here. I would want this to get more tight around the 184 to 186 level, and then ultimately a breakout above the 190 level for an entry. In regards to these stocks I'm watching, I'm only going to talk about the technicals. I'm not really going to talk about the fundamentals. I would recommend you doing your own research. Once again, if I did not mention, these are not recommendations to buy or sell. These are just ideas that you could possibly go with. All right, and the next stock we have is Celsius Holdings. It is an energy drink company that has been on a strong prior uptrend since this flat base breakout here. Holding the 21 EMA nicely, and then just dropped below it but quickly recovered, and now it's looking to break this downtrend line. The reason I'm looking at this is because a lot of breakouts have been working recently off of downtrend lines, so this might need more time to just go a little sideways or possibly touch the 21 EMA again, but I am looking for a break out above this downtrend line. I'm referencing other stocks such as Chewy recently that has just broke out of this downtrend line, Crowd as well. Stuff like that. A lot of things are working with downtrend line breakouts, and Celsius is a really strong stock that is working right now. So a lot of eyes are on this. And I really want to get into this stock. So I am looking for a break above that to get in. Volume patterns have been great, huge accumulation patterns, and then down days have been not as high volume. So that is good to see. So yeah, this is one to watch above the downtrend line. Next stock we have is 3D Systems, another strong name for 2021, 3D printing. So this has been in a huge prior uptrend from pretty much $11-12 to $56. Huge move, but now it's looking to possibly base. 3 days down in a row on low volume, and it found support on the 10 EMA. So this could possibly be a low risk entry if we hold the 10 EMA. I'm actually personally looking for another test of the 10 EMA and possibly an inside day for me to get in, for it to continue its uptrend. If that doesn't happen, oh well, I'll keep an eye on it. Next stock we have is Datadog. DDOG just recently announced its earnings. It is basing nicely in this ascending triangle pattern. It gapped down on earnings, but it did recover, ended up in the green. held its 21 EMA and closed near the 10 EMA. So I'm actually looking for an entry above this 113.50 level to fill its gap and ultimately break into all-time highs. Also with Datadog, volume patterns have been amazing. If we see here, all the big volume days have usually been green days, aside from this day and this day. But when it had this day, it recovered nicely. Other than that, majority of the high volume days have been green, which is great to see. Next, we have Draftkings, which has been on a tear recently. Broke out of this sideways pattern here and then retested prior highs. And this is exactly what we wanted to see. We didn't want it to go straight up because that's unhealthy. So it just went sideways a bit and actually pulled back, held the 10 EMA and recovered, and actually had an inside day on lower volume on Friday. And it reclaimed the 10 EMA, which is great to see. So I'm actually looking for a break above this 61 level, basically 10 cents above this inside day high to enter and hopefully retest prior highs and then go into all-time highs. Next stock we have is Desktop Metal, another 3D printing company. Another one with strong prior uptrend, and it actually down on 3 days and held the 10 EMA nicely. So pretty similar to 3D Systems, Triple D, held its 10 EMA, and I'm actually looking for a break above this 31.23 level for an entry. Hopefully it holds its 10 EMA. That's great strong power here and a leader in its sector. So the next stock we have is DocuSign, another stock that's been going sideways for the past 7 months, really hasn't been doing anything, but this is a very strong, fundamentally sound company. It has been a little bit iffy recently, but it is recovering nicely, and it actually closed above its prior high of the 263 level. I actually missed this one. I was actually looking to get into this at the break of this inside day here, but I have no idea why I missed it. But no worries, the opportunity still presents itself here. I'm actually looking to enter pretty much Tuesday morning if it holds this 263 level, because it does look like it's beginning to break out of this new pattern and possibly retest 290. Not much prior overhead supply here except on this level here. So I do expect this to retest highs and possibly go into new all-time highs. Next stock is ERII, Energy Recovery Inc. Recently just broke out of its downtrend line on good volume, and it actually closed even higher on Friday on good volume as well. That would have been the best time to enter at the break of this downtrend line, but now we're just looking for a break above this 15.25 level to break into all-time highs. This is an energy company, and energy is one of the strong names for 2021. Volume patterns have been good. And yeah, we're just looking for a break above all-time highs, 15.25, so that would be your entry. Next stock is Elastic, another stock looking to break its downtrend line here. Looking for a break above the 168, so pretty much 169 level, looking to enter if we get above that. Volume patterns have been good. Majority of the up days in volume have been green, strong prior uptrend, and a great stock overall. Next we have is Facebook. This wasn't really going to be on my watch list because I'm not really trading large caps right now, but the fact they're setting up so beautifully is making me intrigued. If we take a look here, strong prior uptrend since the March lows, and it's just been flagging beautifully recently, and the past week has been really tight action around its 50, 10, and 21 EMAs. So this is gaining my attention here. I'm looking for an entry above the 274 level, and then a possible another entry above the downtrend line around the 280 level. This is not my top priority, but just looking at the stock itself on the weekly as well, it is setting up very nicely, so this could be due for a huge move, as well as all the other large cap names that are just pretty much going sideways right now. Next stock we have is FUV, Arcimoto Inc. And it's just been wedging nicely here after a strong prior uptrend. Volume patterns have been significant. Accumulation has been very strong with the high volume green days, low volume red days. And I actually have an alert set for the 2571 level, 26 level actually, just because I'm looking for a holy grail setup. I do believe, actually I don't know, but I do want it to touch the 21 EMA for it to and bounce there for a possible entry. If not, then I'm looking for a reclaim of the 10 EMA, but my main priority would be to touch the 21 EMA for an entry. So the next stock we have is GRWG, or Growgeneration Corp, a weed name that has been on a tear recently. It just went straight up from the 40 level to the 67 level. It held the 50-day EMA, which is 50-day moving average, which is great to see, and fell the last 2 days, but recovered nicely, holding the 21 EMA on Friday. I actually bought this stock on the reclaim of the 21 EMA around the 54 level, I believe. So I'm looking to hold this and possibly add to my position above the 58 level. I would like to see this just go sideways just a little bit while still holding the 21 EMA, and then possibly curl up to retest highs. Next stock we have is Luminar Technologies, or LAZR. Had a nice symmetrical triangle breakout here on this past week on good volume. Thursday broke out, and then it continued on Friday. Not as high volume as we would like, but it is still better volume than usual. So it broke out of this nicely, and then now we're looking to break out of this 38.50 level. Once it retests here, I'm looking for this to break above that, and then possibly retest highs. This is a very strong stock. A lot of people are looking at this as well. So let's see if we can get some momentum above the 38.50 level, and then back into new highs. So the next stock we have is MP Materials, or MP for ticker symbol. So it broke out of this flag here on really good volume here, which is what brought my attention to this, both 2 days in a row with strong volume. It retested prior highs, didn't go into all-time highs, but then squatted the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday, but the volume was lower. So I'm looking for a retest of the breakout or a retest of the 10 EMA, and then possibly like a hammer candle or an inside day on low volume for me to enter this, as I do believe the volume patterns are significant, and this one wants to retest its prior highs. So the next stock we have is Mohawk Group. There's no real setup in this stock, but the reason I'm intrigued by this is because of the strong volume patterns. Has been extremely high in volatility and strong volume, but the thing I really like is every time it tries to sell off the past 4 days, buyers have just stepped back in. To see 4 wicks in a row, strong volume. Every time it goes low, buyers step in, buyers step in, buyers step in. So this is telling me that people want this stock. Buyers are stepping in, and they want this to go higher. So I'm looking for this to just go sideways a little bit longer, just to digest its prior gains, and then a break above 43.83 into new highs is what I'm looking for. So the next stock we have is Cloudfare, and their ticker symbol is NET. Broke out of this pattern here on good volume into all-time highs, and actually announced earnings on Thursday night. So Friday morning it reacted to it, which is why the high volume is there. It did announce good earnings, just had a bad reaction to it. But the good news is it retested its prior breakout and held it. It also held its 21 EMA, so that's great to see. And the high volume means buyers did also step in as well. I do really like the stock. I am currently positioned in this stock, and I'm looking to add to my position, possibly another retest of the 21 EMA or a break above the 87.55 level, and filling its gap and retesting all-time highs, as this stock does 100. It is a great company, and if we see here, strong prior uptrend since the March lows, $15 now to $95. Great company, and I'm looking to enter once again above this 87.73 level, and I'm looking for actually a double test of the 21 EMA just to show that buyers are still in control and buyers want to be a part of this stock. So next stock we have is Nio, another one that broke out of this flag on good volume, and the last 3 days have just pulled back slightly on lower volume. As we see here, the volume has been drying up. So I'm looking for basically a curl back up here, a break above the high of Friday's candle at 61.16. I look to add to my position. I'm currently positioned in this one as well. So I'm looking for above that 61 level to add to my position. Buyers are in control here. Volume past 3 days have been very insignificant, low volume, and we could actually move this arrow here so to make it even prettier. break above the 61 level, and then possibly above this downtrend line to go into new all-time highs. So next stock we have is NIU. It might be too early to break out of this base. It might need a few more days, few more weeks, but with this market, you never know. I'm looking for a break above essentially the $50 level for an entry. Strong prior uptrend. Volume patterns have been a little iffy, but recently a lot of the up days have been accompanied by green days, so this is good to see. And yeah, if we just take a look here, above the 50 level has lots of room to run. And the next stock we have is NLS. Recently broke out of this consolidation pattern here on very good volume, above average, and it just pulled back nicely to the 10 EMA on lower volume. It recovered nicely on Friday, so that's good to see. And it also basically essentially retested its prior breakout, not fully, but it did hold a 10 EMA, which is great to see. So I'm looking for a little bit more sideways action, possibly an inside day, and then a break above an inside day to add to this. to start a position here. You see here, prior uptrend, very strong stock. It was actually $1 in the March lows, and now it's in the $30 level. So this is a very strong stock, and a lot of institutions are piling into this. So it's great to see. So the next stock we have is Plug. Plug is a very strong stock in a leading industry right now. It had a few gap ups that have not been filled, so that shows you how strong this stock really is, and it's just been digesting its prior gains past couple weeks. It actually did retest the 21 EMA on Friday on lower volume and actually held it, so that's great to see. So this is actually a holy grail setup. So I'm actually looking to enter this stock above the 64.30 level, and I actually mean to add to my position. I am currently positioned in this, but I'm down just a little bit. So above this 64.30 level, basically above the high of this candle, and then a break above the 10 EMA, I'm looking to add to my position. The great thing about this stock is been a strong prior uptrend, as well as holding its prior gaps is great to see. And when a stock can hold its prior gaps, especially multiple gaps, that shows there's very strong demand for this stock. And if it holds its 21 EMA, even better. Volume patterns have been great. So yeah, I'm looking to add to this position and hopefully get a breakout above this downtrend line into new all-time highs. All right, so the next stock we have is Peleton. It recently announced earnings last week and had a gap down reaction to it, but the good news is it held its 50-day. It had a high wick candle, so it shows buyers were still demanding for this stock, and it just went sideways for the past week, holding its 50-day moving average, and had an inside day on Thursday on very low volume. And we see here on Friday, it had a nice pivot above these moving averages on good volume, and essentially broke out of this downtrend line here, closing at the 154.67 level. I'm also currently positioned in this, but I'm looking to add to my position above the high of Friday's candle, as I'm looking for more momentum continuing and retesting its all-time highs. It's good to see in this market that leaders are still performing well and leaders are starting to break out again. So this is a good sign for the market that it wants to continue its bull run. The next stock we have is Ride. It's having like a U-shaped pattern here, and it retested all-time highs. It actually went to all-time highs, but essentially squatted and actually gapped down. So this isn't a stock I'm really looking to enter right away. I'm just looking for it to base a little bit more, hold this 21 EMA, reclaim the 10 EMA, and potentially have a little handle here to retest its highs. And then I'm looking for a break above 30.71 to enter and start a position. Next stock we have is Skillz, another one that recently gapped up. Strong prior uptrend. Volume accumulation patterns have been great. Pulled back 5 days in a row actually, on lower than average volume. Retested its 10 EMA. Now I do have an alert set up here for the 32.33 level, the 21 EMA. Possibly it could fill its gap and then continue higher, or even just test 21 EMA, continue higher, or it could just hold as 10 EMA and continue higher. So I'm just going to be watching this one. There's no real setup yet. But this is one that is a very strong stock that I do want to get into, so I'm just going to have this heavy on my radar. The most ideal situation for me would be to fill its gap and then close above the 21 EMA for a holy grail setup and a potential entry. So the next stock we have is Snapchat. Recently announced earnings as well and had a huge day on strong volume, 86.71 million volume, a big bullish engulfing candle day. And then since then, it's just been digesting its gains for the past week, just went sideways. Now it's just flagging sideways. So I do expect this to flag a little bit more. And once it breaks above this downtrend line and breaks above the 65.42 level, would be a potential entry for me. Second last stock we have is Teledoc. This is another stock that I currently own. I'm positioned from around the 230 level, and I added around the 260s level. It's been acting very well. A strong stock that a lot of people love, including myself. It pulled back to the 10 EMA nicely, held 3 days in a row, retested its prior highs, and failed, but it pulled back and held its 10 EMA again 3 days in a row. Strong recovery on Friday, and now we're looking for a break above the 300 level, and that's what I'm looking for a possible add to my position. And lastly, we have the Trade Desk. The stock has been one of the strongest stocks of 2020, and recently it just had a breakdown through its 10 EMA, 21 EMA, even its 50 EMA, 50 moving average. But it's starting to recover nicely. It did have essentially undercut and rally above this low, and then now we're looking for early cheap pivot above this 880 level for a possible entry, and then a retest of prior highs at the 972. All right, so that is it for my weekly watch list video. Once again, I will be making this every week moving forward on stocks to watch for the upcoming week. So I could really appreciate any support I could get. So if you did like this video, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have any feedback for me, please leave them down on the comment section below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Once again, thank you all for the support I've been receiving. Any other questions, you could contact me at KCG Trades on Twitter. But besides that, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and good luck this week in the markets. Take care.